Hi everyone from Nar Tehillah. We really missed you for the girls who didn't come, and the girls who did, thank you so much for coming. I want to review with you a drop what we did, and we spoke about the rose, that sometimes when things are hard for us in life and little rain falls to the ground, it wakes up a sleeping rose, so we should be able to have this gorgeous, gorgeous, beautiful garden of roses and beautiful flowers. And as the softest rain flutters to the ground, awaken the sleeping world. Now the secret of its beauty soon unfolds. We're just realizing that this beautiful rose now is woken up because it was sleeping and the rain woke it up, and that's why we're able to have a gorgeous rose. So I want to share with you a little bit about my brother, who was a rose that was taken, and we could learn his beautiful midos, that he only used his life to become a greater and greater rose. So we're able to learn from his beautiful ways. As we approach the yard site of my brother so dear, there are so many memories I would like to share. But how do I begin? From where do I start? I guess it is best to speak straight from the heart. My brother was nifter on Yud Zayin Av, when his neshama was returned to his father above. Yes, it came from Hashem's loving hand, although we may not fully understand. We know that every bit of pain is given to us, so we can learn from it and use it to grow and come closer to Hashem, our Father, our King, who loves us and gives us everything. There are so many thoughts that come to mind. I remember Shalom was always loving and kind. He cared about each and every creation, and here's an example that needs no explanation. One day Shalom was riding his bike down the block. He came across a bird, and quickly he stopped. Instead of hitting the bird, off his bike he flew, and he came with an arm that was black and blue. Off to the doctors my brother went, and for x-rays he was sent. He was told he had a broken arm. He was happy he had not harmed the bird. He was willing to go through physical pain, and not once about his hand did we hear him complain. Are we careful not to hurt someone's feelings? Do we realize it's their emotions we are dealing? The mezuzah, he always made sure to kiss. He made sure never once to miss. This mitzvah that may seem so small, but in his eyes it was great after all. Who are we to measure what is great in Hashem's eyes? For when we come to the next world, we will be in for a surprise. Hashem will show us how great these small mitzvahs are, and how they illuminate the world like a shining star. Shalom got up early each and every morning, and he and his chavrusa together they were learning. His past Shabbos in this world was Shabbos Nachamu. The men danced and danced all night through. And when it was over and Shul Shalom stayed, all the firemen chairs he neatly arranged, so that in the morning when the men would return, it would be easy for them to sit and learn, because everything was in its proper place. And Shalom did all this cleaning with a smile on his face. He would say Shema at night with extra concentration. One of his friends asked him for an explanation. Aren't you tired? Aren't you ready for bed? And this is what Shalom said. A person never knows what his last Shema will be, and so each night I make sure to say it slowly and carefully. If we were to view each mitzvah as would be our last one, we'd use each moment to get more and more mitzvahs done. Shalom did chesed for every Jew. There are so many examples of what he would do. He would use his bike constantly and help out, because he knew what life was all about. Whenever we needed a favor to get done, Shalom would jump up and run onto his mitzvah bike. He pedaled quickly to grab each mitzvah, each golden opportunity. There are countless of examples, loads of stories to share, and there are so many of them which you will never be aware. Shalom did many mitzvahs in his own quiet way. He didn't want people to praise or say, "Oh wow, look what Shalom did." Shalom was an anav, an chayid. He only cared about one small thing, about how he can bring more life and get closer to the King. How he can live his life to get closer to the King. And now he is the closest he could get in Olam Emet. But let's not forget, by doing a mitzvah for Eloi his neshama, you will be giving my family tremendous nechama. In the schus of all that you do and become so much greater, may we be zocha to have a big schus for all of Klal Yisrael. Yes, by showing Hashem you want this galus to end, and the long-awaited Mashiach He will finally send, and Hashem will send you so much beauty, and we will be zocha to see Hashem in the most beautiful way, and He will bring us home to Yerushalayim. Okay, this was a beautiful poem that my tzadika sister Devari set up for us to be able to come up with some new inspiration. I want to share one more cute story about Shalom. That he was walking outside and he saw my cousin. It was like raining outside, snowy kind of weather, and he knew that girls don't like when their hair gets ruined. So he walked over to her and he put the umbrella over her head, and she's looking around like, what's going on? Why is there so much noise in the background? Shalom Baruch, if you could please be quiet. We're trying to videotape you for a minute. Thank you. So TV's taken away from him. Hello? I have to close the video. Okay, so basically what happened was hello. Sorry, everyone's sorry. We're just here with a little kid, so we have to do everything. So what happened was, he was walking outside and he saw it was pouring rain, And my cousin was walking, and he took an umbrella, he put it over her head, and she's like, what's going on over here? And she noticed that Shalom just put his umbrella over her, and he had his bike, and he rode with her all the way to school, and he didn't say a word to her, because he doesn't talk to girls, of course. So he did this just to show that he cares about every single person. We can learn so many little tiny things that he did, and through this we'll be able to bring so much more kavod shem shamayim. The last thing I want to share with you is that people say to me, Chaisar, how could you be so besimcha when life sometimes is so complicating? So here's my little secret. Rabbi Weinberger said that when people come to Menachem Avil, they say, Hamakom Yenachem Eschem. And you think to yourself, Hamakom, it seems so cool to say Hamakom. Why not? HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the Ribono Shel Olam, it's much more warm and much more loving. Why do we say Hamakom? Hamakom is a place. There's an empty place in your heart right now that you feel pain and so much that no one can understand. And people come to Menachem Avil, they don't know what to say. They can't say it. Only Hashem knows how to comfort us. So Hashem promises us, if you sit down and you tell Hashem your pain, you tell Him how hard it was for you, how shocked you were when those old things happened, Hashem says, you give me your pain, I'll take it. Once Hashem takes your pain, it is gone. And then Hashem puts inside love, caring, warmth, kedusha. So it's a very simple thing. You give Hashem your pain, and the empty place inside you will be filled with all Hashem's love. And I was able to feel it right away after Shalom was nifter. We were able to do something unbelievable. My parents wrote into the newspaper a thank you note to thank everybody who came to help us. How is that possible? If you hold on to Hashem in your pain, and you get closer and closer to Him, and you tell Him what's going on, and you share your pain with Him, Hashem fills you with love and thankfulness and appreciation. So we should be zocha to see Hashem in only beautiful things, and thank Him for the good, so that we'll have more and more good, instead of sorrow to turn to Him, but thank Him when someone gets engaged, and the simcha comes into your life. Thank Hashem, so we'll be zocha to many, many more simchas. Have a beautiful day. Thank you.